Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So we have another client tutorial today. So I'm just brushing her brows and then I am going to apply loose translucent powder just to get rid of all the oils. You know the drill. Okay, so next we are filling in her brows and I'm going to outline them first and then fill them in. And then, by the way, I'll link all of the products that I can remember that I use in the description box below. So check that out if you have any questions on the products that I use. So now I am just color matching her. I'm color matching the concealer that I'm going to be using for her brows. So I always do this. I just take like a long Q-tip and swatch the concealer on their forehead, and then that's how I pick my color. So I basically just, outlined her brow underneath, and then I drug the concealer all the way down to her lash line. And now I am blending out the concealer with a Wet n Wild crease brush just so that it can soak up some of the product before we apply the eyeshadow, because if it's too wet or it's too much concealer on the lid, the eyeshadow will not apply correctly. So I'm going in with a light brown shade for her transition shade, and I'm using a very fluffy eyeshadow brush just because I find that the fluffier the brush, the lighter the application of the transition shade will be. So that's exactly why I use it. I don't want the transition shade to be really dense and really hard to blend out. I want it to be very airbrushed and very seamless. So that's why I always use a fluffy brush. So to give her eye a little bit of definition, I'm going in with a deep chocolate shade with that same fluffy brush, and I'm just focusing on the outer V of her eye just to, I guess, give it that sultry kind of look and, deepen up a little bit and, give it a little bit of pop so it's not too natural. We can stay neutral, but it doesn't have to be natural. So now I'm actually going in with a pigment. This is not eyeshadow at all. It's a loose golden, like a champagne golden kind of pigment. And oh my goodness, it is so pretty on the eyes. My favorite pigment of all time. And then now I'm going in with my NYX liquid liner, and I just lined her lids. I'm not doing a wing or a thick liner or anything, just something, just to add a little bit of pop, but not too much. And then I also went in and primed her face, and now we are applying her foundation. So I will say that the foundation that I used in this video was the Nars Soft Matte in Tahoe. And y'all, I love the Nars Soft Matte so much. I want to get so many more shades, but y'all, every time I use the Nars Soft Matte, it has never failed me, like ever. I love it. I will say that you have to work fast with this foundation. That's why I did her face in sections, but it dries down really quickly. I don't know if it's because of the primer that I use. I'll try a different primer the next time that I use this foundation, but I've always seen that it dried down a little bit faster than my other complexion products. So that's why I do her face. Well, that's why I did her face in sections, and that's why I do their faces in sections whenever I use the NARS Soft Matte. Now I'm highlighting her face. I'll be doing underneath her eyes. I'll be doing the bridge of her nose, her forehead. I'll actually be outlining her brows as well. I'll be doing her lip and her chin. So I will be blending her highlight out with a damp beauty sponge, and I actually purchased this sponge from TJ Maxx. I use one sponge per client, so after each client I do throw them away. And some people are like, oh my gosh, why don't you just wash them and use them for the next client? But honestly, it just, I don't know why it just doesn't sit right with me, but it just does not sit right with me to do that. So I just throw it away after every client and just use a new one every single time, a fresh new sponge. And y'all, I cannot stand stained beauty sponges. I don't care how much you clean them. If your sponge is stained and you're doing clients, throw it away. Throw it away, please, because your client's gonna come in and think that it's dirty. They're not gonna think, oh, it's just stained. No, they're gonna think it's dirty. So throw it away if you reuse your sponges but it's stained. So yeah, and to avoid that stress of me trying to get a stain out, that's why I just throw them away. Okay, I just throw them away. And honestly, I don't even think that we're allowed to use beauty sponges now. I've asked my instructor this before, and I got a very beat around the bush answer. It was never ever straightforward with anything that I asked. So just to be on the safe side, I just don't reuse them because I don't think that we can, but I never got a definite answer. So yeah, I just throw them away. So now we're moving on to contour, and I'm doing her cheeks and also the sides of her nose. And I'm just going to be blending that out with a brush. I'm not going to be using the sponge. I feel like the brush, it gives you more control over where the product goes for contour. So that's why I like to use a brush instead of a sponge for contour on her cheeks and on her nose. So now I'll just be setting her contour with a powder. It's actually a foundation powder, but I use it as contour because it melts into the skin and it just creates a nice flawless airbrush seamless look. And also that product will be in the description box as well, so check that out. So now you just see me pressing in translucent powder under. Well, actually, I didn't use translucent powder. I don't know why I keep saying that in the video. I guess because I'm so used to using translucent powder. This was not translucent powder, so check the description box for what powder it was. But I'm just pressing that into her skin, just in the areas that I highlighted. I'll also be applying some powder underneath her contour, and when you do this, it kind of snatches the face a little bit more and just, shapes the face a little bit more and brings out that contour a little bit more. It's not required, but I prefer to do that step. And so now I am putting lash glue on her lash line to prep her lashes for her other lashes. So now I'm applying the lashes, and I'll be linking these in the description box as well. I'm going to try to start linking the lashes that I used in the description box, but I always have to remember the style because I always forget to take pictures of the products that I use after my clients leave. But I'm going to get better, y'all. I'm going to get better. So now we are outlining her lips because we are going to be doing a liner nude gloss combo. So I'm just lining her lips with a dark brown, and then I'll be going in with a light nude and topping it off with a gloss, a clear gloss. So now I am just using some blush just to add some color to the face. And I'll just be putting that on her cheekbones. And then I'll also be going in with some highlight. And I'll be applying that to her cheekbones as well. And her nose. Just, give her a little glimmer, a little shine, a little magic touch. And that's it, you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that is it. That is all. And we are out.